Welcome back to TE Walks Live. This is episode 4 with Mario and Thomas in the Jewish Quarter. Today we will be finally getting to see the Turtle Fountain, I promise you. We're also going to go see Palazzo Mattei and take a peek into their courtyard. Thomas will tell us about Romeo and Juliet, the warring families of the Orsini and the Colonna, and we'll learn more about Jewish culture in Rome.
Maybe that was for the workers.
Like Verona in Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, that city was carved up between territory controlled by the Montagues and that controlled by the Capulets. And if you were a Montague, you didn't go into Capulet territory and vice versa. The same thing was true in Rome. I mean, the two probably most important, most powerful families, feuding families in Rome were the Colonna and the Orsini. But you had a number of them. Often a bishop might be raised to the cardinalate, moved to Rome to take over a government ministry for the Pope. And of course, the first thing he's going to do is build his family, a palace. That's the same thing true here for the Mattei family. This very simple one that you see here, because it's the oldest part of it. But the buildings around it, for a few blocks, all belonged to them at the time. Oh, one's back behind us. This one back behind, this one.
You see, slightly taller. The taller, the more important, right?
Yeah. Well, because it's a later generation. They were more powerful, they were more wealthy, more influential, build a bigger palace. Ooh, we can maybe even take a little peek inside the courtyard here.
Oh, yeah.
And in that courtyard, you'll see an earlier Renaissance aesthetic. This is from the 15th century, so the 1400s. It's not even symmetrical because they're recycling space. They use whatever space they've got. You got a trapezoidal space, you get a trapezoidal building and a trapezoidal courtyard. But very simple arches, columns, Doric capitals. Peaceful.
We're walking out there right to the fountain that is my father-in-law's favorite.
I think probably you ask most Romans, what's your favorite fountain in the historic center? A good portion of them will say this one. I wouldn't even compare it to the Trevi fountain. That's comparing apples and oranges. It's a completely different thing in a totally different world. We're right in the middle of a neighborhood. And it's often referred to as Bernini's Fountain of the Turtles. Basically what Michelangelo did for sculpture and architecture in the 1500s, Gian Lorenzo Bernini does for it more than anybody else in the 1600s. If Bernini did anything, it was only the Turtles 75 years later, and even that is questionable.
Your friend Romain is asking whether the Bar Taruga is open, and now we have to cry.
Yeah, we haven't gone back. We just
I
passed
mean,
it.
it was here. That's what he's pointing at, right?
That's where the old one used to be. Just moved around the corner, Romain. In fact, we just walked by it. I didn't see it open, which doesn't surprise me. But frankly, I like the second iteration of it even better than the first one. But we just walked by it and the doors were all closed. But that doesn't surprise me right now. It's a little early. But it was a little pun on the name. Tartaruga is the Italian word for turtle. This was called Bar Taruga.
Exactly.
The guy most responsible for this fountain was Giacomo della Porta. Poor guy, he gets Michelangelo's dome at St. Peter's really is Giacomo della Porta's dome. Bernini's so-called Fountain of the Turtles really is Giacomo della Porta and one of his delegates. I think Giacomo della Porta, his name was too hard to say, so nobody remembered it. In fact, I remember studying for the absolutely insanely difficult tour guide exam. We were all doing a last-minute cramming session. I'm never going to remember who made all the stupid fountains. There's literally hundreds of them.
Well, just say Della Porta, and you're right.
And I said, just say Giacomo della Porta. You're probably going to be right. It happened to me, and sure enough, lucky enough, I was right.
My phone's coming on. So now that we actually passed this fence, isn't this what they always say? This is the
Yeah,
Jewish
walk
ghetto
through that
proper?
that little barricade there that keeps the
I'll turn around to show it
You know.
once more.
motorized traffic out.
Uh-huh.
That's kind of official. On the other side of that is outside the Jewish ghetto.
Mm-hmm.
Once we've reached it here, you're inside that space that was walled in for 300 years.
I forgot the name of these in English. I only remembered was a German artist making the Stolpersteine.
Yeah.
These ones.
Well, don't they call them memory stones? And when did they do the 1980s, 90s? Isn't that when
The
they started doing
90s. The
them?
90s they came up. All over Europe you would find these. Because I was in the Netherlands for 4.5 months.
It's basically showing the names of the people, the year of their birth, if they knew it, the day they were dragged out of their homes and stuck into trucks just around the corner and carted off to Tiburtina train station. And there, almost everyone from here anyway went to Auschwitz. Almost none of them came back.
And that's the thing. It was not only made for the Jews, it was also made for the Rome and Sinti. And
Yeah, for communists, for the Roma, which for a lot of people, gypsies is the word that's used, but that's not a really cool word to use anymore.
well, Pips is saying it's so emotional, these stones. What I found so special about it is that you would find them everywhere.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
most importantly, you find them in Assen, where I was in the Netherlands. You'd find them at the main square. People are usually not really watching them because shops are built over these houses where people were living first. Same thing here, but with the difference that it's still the Jewish community living here.
Right. Yep. And once the Jewish community is emancipated with the unification of Italy, they can live anywhere, but they had been kept poor for so long and uneducated for so long. And they managed their own education amongst themselves.
This concludes episode 4 of T Walks Live with Mario and Thomas. Please join us with episode 5. We're going to get into the heart of the main avenue of the Jewish Quarter and get to see lots of the wonderful restaurants and some of the magnificent ruins that run throughout the quarter.